store project in its own folder button. What it'll do, it'll store all of your audio together in the Cakewalk directory.
Okay.
I think it's always better to just do it. Create your own folder per song.
Okay.
You know,
just
that
per
keeps
one.
it keeps all your audio files organized together and everything.
Gotcha.
So all you do is just go in, put the name of your file in, pick your location. And what that'll do is it'll create a folder, and it automatically creates your audio folder.
Okay. All right.
So then you can see if you go to, oops, where's my Windows? It's over here. You can see when you do that, it goes to, let's see. Yeah, so here's the file that I made right here.
Okay.
See, it creates that folder. And it automatically creates the audio, and it stores all your audio for that song into that folder. So that's really a better way to do it. So that's what I would do.
Like as far as say for example, you're about to pull down a record a vocal.
Mm-hmm.
Like how do you actually? I know like you can hit file and new, I think, and it'll pull up. Not file and new. What's that button you'll hit and you can kind of start a session, basically. You know what I mean?
Well, when you create new, that's what it'll do.
Okay.
So we've already got our new session open. You just need to add tracks. You can just right-click over here and insert your audio track.
That's right. That's what I meant. Okay.
And then you just use your drop-downs to select your input driver. Now I've got 24 drivers on mine, but you're just probably going to have whatever your sound card is, right and left, and then stereo.
Okay.
So if you can just pick whichever one you're using.
Okay. All right. And say for example, like I had a vocal track recorded.
Mm-hmm.
I know about effects and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But like say for example, on my vocal tracks that you do, like do you put like a specific effect, just a quick effect or anything on it? Any kind of specific, like, you know what I mean?
Not really. What I tend to do is use bussing. Like if you come over here,
all right.
So you got your tracks on this side on the console window, and then you got your buses here. And usually what I'll do is I'll take that and I'll assign like all my vocal tracks to say to bus 2. We'll call that vocal. Okay. And then you can assign all your vocal tracks. If that was a vocal there. Let's see. Let's just throw a couple of them up there. You go in and assign all these to your vocal track.
Okay.
To your vocal bus.
Right.
Okay, and then that way all your vocals will come through here, and then your vocal. Then all these will be assigned. You're going to have one main bus, and it may already set it up with a template like that.
Okay.
But you want to pipe all these into your main bus, and that way you can use a compressor or use your effects on all the vocals together rather than having to patch them all into every single track.
Okay.
Now, about the only thing I usually do with vocal tracks is I'll usually put a little bit of an EQ on whatever your lead track is.
Okay.
Say if you've got a lead and 2 dubs, I'll throw a patch an EQ in there. Just kind of bump that high end up just a little bit on that lead track. It makes it stand out just a little bit more.
Okay.
Not much, just a slight that. Or if you got, I don't know, which version of Sonar are you using?
7 home studio.
Oh, okay. I don't think I was going to say they've got a new high frequency exciter.
Probably.
I don't think they have that in 7. But you could use that too. Anything to kind of just increase that presence on that lead track a little bit. Okay. But that's about all the only effects I do on the actual tracks themselves.
Maybe just the lead one is the only one you do that on.
Yeah, right. Just whichever one's right in the middle that you want. And then usually on the buses, I'll put a compressor in there. You want to set it just like I showed you on that Alesis with kind of a short attack, short decay. Usually about 30 and 90.
30 and 90.
For rap, and then for singing, bump them out a little bit longer, maybe to, about, 100 and 200.
100 and 200, right? Attack. 100
if
attack.
You're doing something that's a little more singy or a little smoother.
Right.
Basically, the more percussive what somebody's doing, like rapping or something like that, you want to keep your attacks shorter and longer, more sustained sounds. You want them to be a little longer. That's a general rule. And then you can use, your threshold, like I was showing you before, where getting it to bounce. It'll show you what your how much it's bouncing down.
And still the same numbers on that too, kind of.
It's similar, yeah. It's just basically the same thing.
Right there. Okay.
Just software, and then control your threshold until you get it to where it's bouncing about -6.
Okay.
And your ratio. I usually set mine to about 8 to 1. And the knee controls how fast it falls off. You see how it's kind of a smooth curve. For wrap and stuff, I usually set it a lot sharper to where it's it kind of clips it a little bit more.
Okay.
Set it to 2 or 3.
All right.
And again, I usually use the vintage setting. I think it sounds a little punchier.
Okay.
But use that on your buses.
Okay. On all 3 of them.
Just it depends on what you're doing, but on the vocal buses, yeah.
All right. And just one last question, like when you do my courses, they always stand out to me. Like, are you doing something special, like a reverb or something on the courses? You know what I mean?
I usually put the same effects on rap stuff. Yeah, I pan them different. I kind of control the sounds by panning them.
Okay.
But if you're doing this busing like this, and using that compressor on the bus, it should smooth those out, so you don't have as much of a variation there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That should kind of take care of that.
All right.
Now, if you're finding, and the thing too, I think you'll find once you patch that compressor in, that you don't have that as much because you're gonna flatten the tracks as you're recording them.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it's gonna kind of already do a little bit up front. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Because like if you was using external compressor, you probably wouldn't have to do a whole lot of this stuff that you're doing.
Yeah, not as much, right?
Okay.
Now, see, if you're not using an external compressor, you're gonna need to go in and put a compressor on each vocal track.
Okay. Gotcha.
Now, if you're compressing up front with an external compressor, you can get by with just doing this and just kind of smoothing the vocal tracks out.
Gotcha. Just one last question. When I try to record, it keeps dropping out. Do you know why?
It dropping out?
Yeah, like if I start trying to record, it'll play for about 10 seconds and then it'll drop out. It keeps saying drop out at the bottom.
Okay, you need to turn your buffers up. Go to your tools, options, audio settings.
Options, audio.
Okay, and there's this little slider down here. And you got how many buffers in your playback queue. It's probably set automatically to 2 and set really low. Bump that up to 4 or 6 and then move that slider up about halfway.
And that'll probably fix it.
Yeah, it should fix it.
All right, cool. Cool, man. I appreciate that, man.
Sure.
It's going to help me out a bunch.